Hi there, thanks so much for joining me. My name is Polly Chester, I'm from Primary Health Tasmania. Welcome to this first in a series of 3 videos about the After Hours Support Planning Toolkit and Workbooks for residential aged care facilities. This is instructional video 1 of 3 for residential aged care facility staff, and we will be exploring the After Hours Support Planning Toolkit for residential aged care facilities together. That's the document with the dark blue cover. Following a pilot of these resources from December 2022 to January 2023, we're very happy to be delivering them to you now. Some of your colleagues from around Tasmania provided some excellent information that helped inform the design of these toolkits, and we hope that they will be very useful for you as you foray into this process of perhaps centralising and recording your after-hours support plans for facility and for individual residents if you don't yet have a process in place that helps you fulfill that objective. The purpose of the following 3 video vignettes is to provide broken down instructions on how to use the after-hours support planning toolkit for residential aged care facilities. As you'll have noticed, if you'll have looked at 3 documents, they're separated into 3. That's to make them less overwhelming. One of them is really a guidance document. That's the one we're going through now. And the other 2 are more kind of workbook resources that you can actually work through and record your plans within. The first is really more of a reference document and one that you use in order to enhance the plans as you go forth. I will explain more about this as we go through the document together. I would advise that you print copies of each 3 documents if you have not done so already. We will be talking directly to the contents of the workbook within this presentation and also to the toolkit itself. So having those documents printed means that you can flick through and refer to the pages that I'm speaking about within this presentation. Also have a pen handy, a notepad, anything that you think you might require to take notes, jot down ideas as we go through these resources together. Also, you might like to consider watching these videos with the people or persons that you will be working with on this project. Maybe it's just you, in which case you probably don't have to invite anybody. But if there's a project team that are working on this process together, perhaps you might like to watch the videos together. Don't have to though, completely up to you. The video resources are yours now to keep, and you can distribute them as you see fit to watch individually or together. These documents that you've been given in terms of the after-hours support planning toolkit for residential aged care facilities, the facility after-hours care planning workbook, and the resident after-hours care planning workbook are all editable PDF documents, which means that if you want to type the answers to the self-assessment questions or write your plans in on the computer or on an iPad, you're more than welcome to do that. But if you're the kind of person who prefers to enter information manually and handwrite, you are also welcome to do that. If it was up to me, I wouldn't be doing that because my handwriting is not neat enough. So whatever works for you is all fine by us. So within this first document, so that's the one with the dark blue cover, we have background information about the project itself. So you can read about where all of this has come from and why it's taking place and why Primary Health Tasmania has created these resources. We also have a step-by-step guide of how to use all 3 resources in concert together. We have definitions of the minimum requirements of a comprehensive after-hours support plan. We have self-assessment questions and examples of robust planning in practice. And we also have a range of different resources that you might like to use within your plans to enhance perhaps what you already have planned. There are a number of resources around Tasmania that RACFs use. We found this out when we originally went out to talk to RACFs in relation to what they currently did in the after-hours space. We want to make sure that everybody in Tasmania is across the same information about what is available in the after-hours space. So none of the resources or services may be new to you, but hopefully some of them are, and hopefully some of them will be useful as you work to enhance the after-hours support plans that you currently have in place. So now I'd like to invite you to turn to pages 8 and 9 of the After-Hours Support Planning Toolkit for Residential Aged Care Facilities. So on pages 8 and 9, what you will find is definitions of all of the minimum requirements for an after-hours plan within a residential aged care facility. They are clinical governance, workforce, systems and processes, meeting needs and accessing services, and infrastructure. So what we've done is describe in detail what all of these minimum requirements are This may not be new information to you, and you may be wondering why it's here. The reason why it's here is because not everybody has the same understandings of those requirements. So we wanted to spell it out really clearly so that we're all starting from the same place in terms of those minimum requirements. What we have also done is suggest where these minimum requirements may align with the relevant aged care quality standards. So for example, clinical governance may align with standard 1, 2, 6, and 8. Please be aware that we do not guarantee alignment, but we have a fairly good idea that these things will work in concert with one another. So when you're thinking about meeting accreditation for aged care quality and safety, be aware that after-hours support planning is an integral part of that process. And whilst we can't guarantee that meeting these requirements will inform accreditation or guarantee accreditation, we do think that they line up pretty well, and we hope that you do too. So here you'll find definitions of minimum requirements of the comprehensive after-hours support plan, and these minimum requirements have been stipulated by the Australian government. So we're really taking direct instruction from them on what's required here and adding our own flavour to it in this document as well. If you'd like to now turn to page 10, we're getting into now the steps of how to use the toolkit itself. So RACFs are encouraged to use the toolkit in the manner that best meets your needs. Primary Health Tasmania suggests that facility management allocates time and takes a collaborative approach to identifying the strengths and gaps in both facility and individual resident after-hours plans. Step 1, we'd like you to read the after-hours planning toolkit, that's this document that we're reading through together now, and review the requirement definitions and self-assessment questions. We'd also like you to review the resources that we suggest, including the example service directory that we've set up at the end as well. Bear these in mind, especially as you go through the resident after-hours care planning and facility after-hours planning workbooks later on. Step 2, complete an after-hours facility plan, just one per facility. Define your facility's after-hours period. So that's the time that's usually considered to be outside of business hours of operation. It does vary slightly depending on where you are within Tasmania. Where the answers to the questions are clear or plans or processes exist, please write these into the after-hours facility plan. Step 3, enhance your facility plan with suggested resources, tools and services provided in the after-hours planning toolkit. Once again, that's this document here, this one with the dark blue cover. Review your after-hours facility quick guide and fill in any gaps. Step 4, complete an individual after-hours plan for each resident using the individual resident's after-hours planning workbook. Consider the appropriateness of completing either an advanced care directive or medical goals of care protocol for each resident. Where answers to questions are clear or plans or processes already exist, write these into the after-hours resident plan. Step 5, enhance your individual resident plans with suggested resources, tools and services provided in the after-hours planning toolkit. Once again, that's this one with the dark blue cover. Review your after-hours facility quick guide and fill in any gaps. Step 6, most importantly to us, perhaps, rather than you, is provide feedback on the toolkit to Primary Health Tasmania. We're very, very interested in your feedback. We've never created anything quite like this before, and we feel that your feedback is going to be absolutely pivotal in making sure that this is a resource that is useful for you on an ongoing basis. So I hope that you can allow some time to give us feedback as well. So now let's have a look at an example of the after-hours care planning guide itself. So if you like to turn to pages 12 and 13, then what we've got an example of here is what clinical governance might look like. So we've got a range of self-assessment questions available for you to have a look at there, including definitions or examples of what that could look like in practice as well. So for example, we've got what documents underpin the way we work in our organisation and where can they be found? And we might answer that with the example of the organisation has charters of responsibilities, mission, vision, code of conduct, employer agreements, etc. So there we have an example of how that self-assessment question might be fulfilled in a practical sense. What we have on page 13 is suggested resources that you might be able to use to enhance the clinical governance requirement of your facility. So when you're thinking about ways in which to perhaps fortify this area of your after hours support plan, either for the facility itself or for individual residents, you may like to refer to these sections. Page 13, clinical governance being an example, where you can use the suggested resources in order to perhaps meet that requirement in a more comprehensive way. We've got links there within the documents as well. You can click on the links and you should be taken straight to the aforementioned web page. So have a play around with that stuff electronically if you would like to as well. Next, I would like you to turn to pages 23 and 24. So what we do also have is a service directory example, which spans across pages 23 to 28, really. So these are concrete examples of some of the services that could be used in an after-hours support plan. These examples are just a snapshot in time of what's available, so please make sure that you check the contact details of any of them via the National Health Service Directory if you do intend to use them. But have a flick through. There may be some things in here that you haven't thought of or that you may not have known about in your region. These are all just ideas to get you thinking about what's available in your area that you can make use of if you haven't already. So as I said before, we'd really like your feedback on this document. So if you turn to page 22, what you'll see is that we actually have a feedback page that you could tear out and send to us if you wanted to. So you could fill that in, handwrite the answers, and you can send it to the address provided there. If you would prefer to, you can click on the link within the PDF version of this document and you can fill out a Microsoft form with the same information in it. So we would really love to know what you think of the toolkit. We'd really like to know what you think about working with Primary Health Tasmania as well. So if you could take the time to do that short survey, we'd really appreciate that. The back cover is also editable. We would like you to be able to customize these documents with your logo. So in the bottom right-hand corner, if you click on that small image within the PDF document itself, what you'll be able to do is load in your facility's logo if you would like to. So give that a go if you want to, but of course not mandatory to do so. If you'd like to contact us about accessing further assistance, you may do so by emailing agedcare@primaryhealthtas.com.au. If you need any further assistance or have any questions of any kind, we're more than happy to answer them. We will be putting together a working FAQ or frequently asked question document on our website. So please make sure that you email us with any questions at all. No question is too small or too big or too silly. Other RACFs will probably have similar ones and we're more than happy to answer these. So fire away with whatever you've got. If you need further consultation to explain the resources, we can book in a virtual chat on Teams or even organise to come and see you in person if you like. So please don't hesitate to reach out. You can stay informed about what Primary Health Tasmania is up to by visiting our website, by visiting our Facebook page, or if you'd like to contact us on Twitter, you can also do so using the @TasPHN handle there. Thank you so much for taking the time to view this presentation. I hope it's been helpful for you and I hope that you can tune into the next presentation we've got coming up, which will be focusing specifically on how to use the Facility After Hours Care Planning Workbook. Thanks very much.